Welcome to week 3 of the Cozy Ugly collection. Hi, my name is Eunice, and I'm a registered art therapist and licensed marriage and family therapist. In this week, we're making Cozy Ugly flowers. This is a bottle brush plant, but you don't have to use this exact one. You can choose any flowers that feel interesting or even just imagine one. But the most important part of this practice is that you use your non-dominant hand. So each week, we're drawing one simple object and putting it on the table. And by the end of 12 weeks, the table will be full. But you don't have to do all 12 weeks. Whichever makes you feel more grounded, you can do so at your own pace. And so this week, I did something a little different. I painted this with the background. And so you can do this as one piece, or you can cut this out and put it on the table if you want to follow along the collection series. So I just want to share that before we get started, that I've noticed personally by doing this weekly that my body is more comfortable making something messy and imperfect and being present with it to even feeling good and accomplished. So my hope for you is that when you do this, that you are going to start to feel in your body what it's like to be good enough, not just knowing that intellectually. For today's practice, I'm using a small piece of watercolor paper, about 7 inches by 5 inches. I'm taping down the edges just to create a soft border and to hold the paper in place. You can do this on any surface, any size paper. This doesn't have to be perfect. We're just creating a small space to land. Now I'm beginning to sketch using my non-dominant hand, and you can do the same if you'd like. There's something about using the non-dominant hand that naturally lowers expectations. Your lines might feel slower, a little shaky, a little uncertain, and that's actually the point. We're not here to get it right, we're here to let things unfold. I'm sketching a simple vase and placing the flowers inside, letting each side be a little different, a little uneven, a little wonky. You might notice parts of you that want to fix it or make it more symmetrical. And if that happens, just notice it. You can erase and redraw if you want, but also see what it's like to let the imperfections stay. I chose the bottle brush plant because of its shape. It's not the typical soft petals we think of with flowers. It's a little spiky, a little unusual, and somehow it still works. It belongs, just like the messy parts of us. And you can appreciate those parts while also gently trying something different, letting things stay a little off. I'm adding the flowers now, letting them spread in different directions. You can take your time with the sketch. You can even look at a picture of the bottle brush plant or the flowers of your choice and not trying to organize them too much. You can erase if you want, but before you do, pause for a second and ask yourself, what is it like to leave it as it is, even just for a moment? I'm also going to lightly draw a line near the bottom, just a simple horizontal line. This becomes the base of the table. Now I'm lightly erasing the lines, just softening them, not removing them completely, almost like they're still there, just quieter. I'm starting with the vase, using acrylic gouache, mixing burnt umber with pale mint to create a muted sage-like tone. As you mix your colors, notice how you're making small adjustments. A little more of this, a little less of that. There's no exact formula. And maybe this is a place to practice trusting your sense instead of needing certainty. As I paint, I'm letting the brush move slowly, not trying to cover everything perfectly. If there are streaks, uneven areas, that's okay. Sometimes texture actually makes it feel more alive, more human, more like something that's been touched and not just perfected. You might start to notice how your body responds to that. There can be a softening when things don't have to be smooth or even. And if there's part of you that still wants to go back and fix it, you can just notice that too. Maybe that part learned somewhere that things had to look a certain way to be acceptable or to be enough. And here, we're gently offering a different experience, where uneven can stay, where marks can overlap, where nothing has to be erased right away. You might even experiment a little more here, letting your brush drag, pressing a little lighter or a little heavier, seeing how the paint responds. There's no right way to do this part, just noticing what happens when you let yourself stay with it a little longer than usual. Now I'm taking burnt umber and adding water to it, creating a light wash for the table. As the brush moves across the paper, you might notice a rhythm starting to form, back and forth, back and forth. Let your body settle into that rhythm a little. You don't have to rush this. Let your hand move at a pace that feels steady, almost like you're following your breath. And if your mind starts to wander or judge what you're doing, just gently come back to the movement, to the feeling of the brush on paper, to the sensation in your hand. Sometimes grounding doesn't come from thinking, but from repeating something simple again and again. Now I'm mixing background color using pale lime and burnt umber, creating this soft, muted brown-green. You might notice the color shift as you mix, how it changes slowly, depending on how much you add. There's something really gentle about that process. Nothing is fixed right away. It's always adjusting. I'm using a larger brush here, letting the movement be a bit bigger, a bit more open. Notice how it feels to move your arm in a wider way. Instead of small, controlled movements, you might even feel a slight release in your shoulders, your wrist, your breath. Sometimes we hold tension in really subtle ways, and when the movement gets a little bigger, it gives that tension somewhere to go. You don't have to make the background even. You can let it be streaky, uneven, layered. Sometimes those variations are what makes the piece feel more alive, more real. And I'm curious to know, are you resonating with the colors I'm using here? or are you using different colors? Leave a comment in the comment section what colors you're using for this practice. I would love to know. So while we're letting the background dry, I'm picking up a water-soluble crayon and starting to make marks on the table. There's no plan here, no structure to follow, just scribbling, layering, letting the marks overlap. You might notice a question come up. Is this going to look good? Or what am I even doing here? And instead of trying to answer that, you can just notice the question and come back to the movement. Let your hand keep going, even without certainty. Now I'm adding water and watching the lines soften, blur, spread. You might notice how quickly things change just from a small shift. There's something really important happening here. Something defined, becoming less defined, and still being okay. You might even experiment a little, adding more water in one area, less in another, seeing how it moves, how it settles. Let this part feel like play, not performance. In so many parts of life, we're asked to know what we're doing, to have direction, to be efficient. But here, you don't need any of that. You can just follow what feels interesting. And I'm layering another color, repeating the process, letting curiosity lead, letting the marks build slowly, without needing to rush to a final image. You might start to notice certain areas you're drawn to more. Maybe you go back over the same spot, adding more layers, darkening it, or softening it again with water. Just notice that pull. There's no need to balance everything out. It doesn't have to be even across the page. Sometimes we think everything needs to be filled or completed in the same way. But it's okay if some areas feel more work and another feel lighter or even unfinished. If it feels right, you can slow down even more here, letting each mark take a little longer, giving yourself space between each movement. Now that the background is dry, I'm painting the leaves using green mixed with a little burnt umber to soften it. Again, take your time mixing colors to see what kind of color you would come up with and what you would resonate with. I'm not outlining first, just placing shapes, letting them be a little uneven, a little different from each other. You don't have to match both sides. You don't have to make them realistic. Just suggesting where they might be. You might notice how it feels to place something down without overthinking it. Just one shape at a time. Now I'm moving into the flowers. I'm using scarlet as the color and diluting it with water so it feels light, a little translucent. I'm using a thin brush here and making sure the paint stays fluid, not too heavy. I'm starting from the center and making small strokes, moving outward, like the shape of a bottle brush, each line extending away, in its own direction. Here, let each stroke be intentional, but not pressured. Just placing one mark, then another, without needing them to match. You might notice a rhythm forming again, a quiet repetition, almost like a gentle pattern, and you can let yourself settle into that. Sometimes repetition can feel really grounding because it gives your body something steady without needing to figure anything out or make decisions constantly. You're just following the motion. If your lines feel uneven, that's okay. If some are longer, some shorter, that's okay too. If some areas feel more dense and others more open, that's okay. This flower already has a unique shape. It's not meant to be symmetrical or perfectly spaced, so you don't have to control it too much. You're just building it piece by piece, letting it grow outward in its own way. Now I'm adding oil pastel, a light green, to build texture around the leaves. You might notice this feels different from paint, more direct, more immediate. There is less separation between your hand and the mark. Let yourself feel that, the slight resistance of the pastel, the way it glides or skips. You can go over the painted areas, trace around them, or extend beyond them. Let it feel layered, like you're building on what's already there. Nothing has to be final. Everything can keep evolving. Now I'm adding some blue tones to create a bit of texture and shadow. You don't have to think too much about where it goes. You can just place a little and see how it feels. Blue can sometimes balance things without taking over. You might notice how this shifts the feeling of the whole piece. Not in a dramatic way, but in a more settling way. And you can stop anytime it feels like enough. But if you want a little more depth, you can go in with a darker blue and layer it in to build a bit more shadow and texture. Now I'm peeling off the tape. There's something really satisfying about this moment. It frames what you've made, even if it's imperfect. And then I decided to go back into the center of the flowers with a darker red, adding a little bit more contrast, a bit more depth. You might notice how small changes can shift the whole piece. You can keep this piece as it is and take a moment to notice how your body feels right now. Maybe there's a sense of good enough, not because everything is perfect, but because you stayed with it. And this drawing becomes a small piece of evidence of that experience. And if you'd like, you can cut it out and place it on your cozy ugly table. I'll show you what that can look like. One small piece at a time, you're creating something that holds your experience. And over time, your body starts to recognize this space as a place to be, to make, to notice. Keep it cozy, keep it ugly. I'll see you next week.